And now, your First Alert 5 weather.
And you know, it was a lovely day here in southern Colorado. Not bad after the snow we saw late last week and the cold temperatures that persisted into the start of the weekend. Check it out for Pueblo, a 50-degree temperature spread. Folks that aren't used to dry air masses like this in Colorado probably are scratching their heads. I grew up in Florida. It's typically about a 20-degree spread between the low and the high there because of so much moisture in the air. 51 the high today, 49 in the Springs. By Thursday, those highs in those areas might even stay below zero. So a big case of weather whiplash as we get a major cold snap that moves into the country by the middle to end of the week. Right now in the Springs, we're sitting just slightly below freezing at 29 degrees. Again, it's chilly, but pretty typical for this time of the year. By the way, the final Monday of fall as winter begins on Wednesday. 16 in Pueblo currently with a feels like temperature all the way down to 11. And some of that cold air is still sitting out in some of those drainage areas across the lower Arkansas River Valley, especially out east of Pueblo County. But even in Pueblo by tomorrow morning, back down to single digits, whereas the spring stays a little warmer than that at about 15 degrees. You can see noontime temperatures into the 40s in both areas and highs with a little more cloud cover, slightly cooler than what we saw today, but overall pretty similar. Now the Arctic invasion, the big talking point here in southern Colorado. If you've been watching us since last week, you've seen all of our weather team talking about this. We got a big cold front Wednesday night. Behind the front, we get a wind chill watch that's going to go into effect right around 11 o'clock, continuing into Friday morning. Very strong winds at the onset of the storm. So from Wednesday night through midday Thursday, we're expecting gusts around 30 to 40, maybe some isolated gusts 50 to 60 in some areas. That combined with rapidly falling temperatures means that wind chill values at the coldest part of the storm could be as low as maybe 30 to even 50 below zero. I think the best chances for that would be east of the interstate and north of Highway 50. But even for the rest of us, if you're talking about wind chill values between 20 and 30 below zero, the risk of frostbite can increase in as little as 10 minutes. So here's the very latest on the Arctic blast. All this cold polar air plunging down south, not only affecting us here in Colorado as we head towards Christmas and the rest of Hanukkah, but also the midsection of the country and the southeast as we make our way into the upcoming weekend. And here's what it looks like during this coldest part of this storm. These are your forecast highs on Thursday. Again, below zero around Monument in the Springs, -8 in Lyman, -6 La Junta, and 0 in Pueblo. Lows that night, bitterly cold, dangerously cold. We can't stress that enough. -25 in La Junta, -20 for Lamar and Eads, and -20 as well in Pueblo. So any livestock, any pets, you want to bring those in or at least shelter them if possible. Do what you can to keep them warm and keep that water supply and food supply from freezing over. Will we see any records though? That's the big question. In Pueblo, we could get pretty close to this record that dates back to 1990. But for the Springs, looks like we're pretty safe from it. That one is -24, whereas in Pueblo, it is -23. The other side of the storm, as you look at the model blend snowfall accumulation map, is going to be a quick burst of snow. Again, with temperatures so cold and temperatures dropping off pretty quickly, there could be a flash freeze. I'm hoping this comes in after the commute Wednesday night. I think it does, at least that's the timing for now. Most of it should fall late Wednesday into Thursday morning. You can see model consensus pretty similar to what I showed you earlier today, generally in the ballpark of around a ½ inch to 2, maybe 3 inches in some of those Pikes Peak region higher elevation zones. Lows tonight down into the single digits and teens for most areas. A few spots into the lower 20s. Highs tomorrow, again, pretty comparable to what we saw today with 30s, 40s, and even a few lower 50s into the Arkansas River Valley. So we go from relatively mild air on Wednesday to some light snow and very gusty winds late. Low by Thursday morning, -8. Thursday's high, -1. And check out that low Thursday night. That's when we could hit -13. So it's a dangerous, extreme cold weather event. Light snow, and if that high does verify, we could see below zero temperatures for about a 30-hour stretch of time. Stay tuned to see if that verifies. In Pueblo, it will be very cold as well. A drop of more than 50 degrees from Wednesday to Thursday, and then a low that night at -20. The good news is by the weekend, temperatures warming up nicely with 50s by Christmas Day. Canyon City, we've got 50s Tuesday to Wednesday, a high of 7 Thursday, a low that night -7 and a high on Friday at 20. And for Woodland Park, some very cold weather heading our way. Again, if you can avoid spending time outside, I'd say from Thursday morning through Friday morning, that's going to be your best advice. You know, my mom's coming to town. Not sure if I told you guys this.
No.
And She lives in Atlanta, Georgia. So she's not super happy with the forecast, but I'm like, Mom, Thursday, we're staying inside, we're baking, we're doing holiday stuff. I'm not taking you outside.
She gets a variety. I love that for her, actually.
Yeah.